What is up, you guys? I'm Charmx, and today I'm going to be reacting to Getting Lost at Camp Geronimo by The Odd Ones Out. Now, I have no clue what we're getting into here. I don't know what Camp Geronimo is. Am I supposed to know what Camp Geronimo is? But I don't know, but I hope this will be quite awesome. The original link's in the description. Make sure you guys go subscribe to The Odd Ones Out. Without any further ado, let's begin.
If you haven't read Lord of the Flies, you're probably going to have to in school one day.
Yeah, I think everyone's read that, haven't they?
Let me give you an abridged version for when that time eventually
Wait, is Camp Geronimo the one that's in Lord of the Flies?
comes. The Lord of the Flies is a book about a bunch of little British boys who got marooned on a deserted island, and the book tells the story about what the boys do to survive the elements, but also themselves. Within like a week on the island, the boys devolve into complete savages, covering themselves in face paint and killing a piggy.
Yeah, I remember this from Lord of the Flies. It's bizarre that I still remember that. I have terrible memory, and I read this must have been like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something? Somewhere around there. And I still kind of remember parts of it. I remember how didn't they put like the head of the pig on a stick or something at one point?
I said too much. And when I read the book in high school, I thought having the boys turn savage so quickly wasn't all that accurate. As a former young boy myself, I was insulted that William Golding thought that us little boys were so heartless. But then I remembered all the things that happened at my scout camp, Camp Geronimo.
Okay, no, Camp Geronimo is his scout. Okay.
And I realized that Lord of the Flies is still
Yeah, look, there's a head on the pig, head on the stick.
inaccurate. The boys would have gone savage way faster. Listen, I'm a cautious person when I'm hanging around the guys. In PE, the other boys would be playing this game called Quarters, where you would fling quarters at people's knuckles
I freaking remember people doing that.
until they bled, but
I didn't do it because I thought it was stupid.
I wouldn't play that game because it's dangerous and I'm a loser. Or when I was at a party and someone
Guess I'm a loser.
wanted to play the knife game to show off how good their hand-eye coordination was, I wouldn't play that game either because I needed my hands to draw. But something about being with the guys in the middle of the woods, I would live on the edge. Every summer, our troop stayed at this camp called Camp Geronimo.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like almost herd mentality. Especially when there's less civilization, I think people go downhill really fast.
Named after the Apache Indian who was the first person to yell Geronimo while doing a sick backflip into his pool. One time, me and a couple other boys, I don't
know how accurate that is.
remember who started it, but we were playing with matches, and okay, I know what you're thinking, but nothing bad happened, okay? We just accidentally lit some dried bushes on fire, and it got somewhat out of control, but it's okay, it's fine, okay? We told the scoutmaster that there was a loose fire spreading faster than we could put it out, and he got everyone in the troop to stomp on it, and we never got in trouble. What were we doing with the matches? Oh, we were just...
So this is how freaking forest fire started. I guess we now have the answer.
lighting them and throwing them at each other.
What?
Anyway, about 30 other scouts
Wait, what was that?
them and throwing them at each other. Anyway,
Smoking.
about 30 other scout troops attended Camp Geronimo, and we would spend a whole week sleeping in tents and earning merit badges. Most of the camp honestly felt like school, but outside. Like, when you got to the camp, you were given a schedule of classes, and for the next 7 days, you would go to those classes and learn and fill out packets and sometimes even have homework, which
Really? I never really went to camp. I don't like leaving home.
probably helped us not devolve into savages. I mean, sure, the classes weren't as boring as English or geometry. Geronimo's classes were wilderness survival, kayaking,
The stupid dancing triangle.
or bare self-defense. Earning a merit badge required 2 things. The first thing, you had to write stuff down. Name and point out the major parts of a kayak. Kayak. Explain to your counselor the hazards you are most likely to encounter while participating in kayaking activities.
Drowning, I think, would be on the top of the list.
Bears. And the second part of the merit
Wait, bears?
badge, you had to actually go out and do stuff. Capsize the kayak, swim it and the paddle to the shore, and if you don't make it, the bears will get you. I never got the kayaking merit badge. You had to be at least 12 to go to Geronimo, but you could go as an 11-year-old if a parent was coming with you. And at the time, my dad was a camp counselor. My birthday was May 14th, and Geronimo was at the end of May, so I barely made the cutoff as the youngest person going. Geronimo was a big step from spending 3 days at Cub Scout day camp to spending a week in the wilderness. What made it worse was I was going to be spending
Yeah, I wouldn't want to spend a week in the wilderness. Friggin', I hate bugs. I hate them.
a whole week with all the mean older scouts and my dad. There was this one scout named Paul. When I was 11, he was 15. So naturally, he would pick on me and make fun of me. Ha ha, I get it. I'm small, so I suck. But silver lining, he got fatter, and a couple years ago, he reached out to
There's always a positive.
me, and I had been doing the whole YouTube thing for a while. He was off starting his own business, and he wanted to do some business opportunity with me, and I just said, hey, do you want to do my merch? So now he works for me. So kids,
Really? I was not expecting that.
if you ever have bullies, just become successful on YouTube and then hire them to sell plushies. He's actually a really good merch guy. He gets all my stuff into these retail stores. So if you see a
You're in Walmart? You're in Walmart? Wait a minute.
plushies, he's actually a really good merch guy. He gets all my stuff into these retail
And you're in Target and Hot Topic? Oh my goodness. Wow, look at all these massive companies. Claire's, Five Below. Wow. See, I didn't know that. I guess I really do not leave the house that often. So, yeah, I guess, I wouldn't know that.
retail stores. So if you see a
Oh, it's getting hot. It's getting hot. Why the frig is it so hot in here?
plushie at Hot Topic, you can say, thanks, Paul. Bullies really do make a difference. Anyway, self-promotion aside, my first year at Geronimo, I was a little bit on the very young side compared to everyone else. I was taking a class called orienteering. The class taught us how to read maps and use a compass. And one day it was time for our class to go on a scavenger hunt thing. We were given a list of places we had to go to, and we were supposed to use our compass and count our paces to get to each specific location. Then when we got to our destination, there would be a marker somewhere, and we would have to write down what that marker was. There were 10 different markers that we had to find, and the course was supposed to lead us in a circle. The leader who was in charge of our group and the compass was an older scout named Paul. It was
a different Paul? How many freaking Pauls are there?
Isn't the merch guy Paul, but I think it would be funnier if it was. Our group set off to the first location. Having a compass and counting your steps isn't the most accurate way of navigation, but we weren't allowed to use Google Maps, so. When we got to the spot, we had to look around for a little bit to find the marker, but we eventually found it, and then we were off to the second location. This time, the marker was harder to find. The spot we landed on was pretty far from where the marker actually was.
Oh,
At the
wow.
third location, we
Oh, so this is how they got lost? Wait, don't tell me this ends up with, like, a search party having to be called or something like that.
couldn't find the marker. But we did see this reflective sign on a tree, and we figured that's what the marker was supposed to be, so we wrote it down. At this point, I decided to grab my own compass and give it a try. My compass pointed in a direction that was a little bit off from Paul's direction. Not by a whole lot, but just enough. But remember, I was the little kid. Nothing I said mattered. Paul said things to me like, "Oh, you don't know how to use a compass.
Wait, so you landed at the wrong location, and now from there you're gonna go to another spot, which is gonna send you in an even worse location because you're already off to begin with, so it's gonna put you off even more. Is that what's happening?
bet yours is broken. I'm never going to work for you one day." And you know what? I believed him. This guy is 15 years old. Do you know how wise and experienced he is? So we kept going and struggling. We used anything we found as a marker. Some piece of trash, it's a marker. Hey, this tree has...
Oh my goodness, so you're just making the situation so much worse. There's a ladybug. It's a marker. I guess whoever thought of this thing really didn't think it through properly. Because all it takes is you to get one marker wrong, and then if you start going to the next marker, which is in X direction, you know, you're gonna be off because it depends on the last location you were at. And if you're wrong in the last location, it's all gonna be wrong.
has an A and an M carved into a heart. Kind of weird that it's at an all-boys camp. Do you think that it's a marker? Eventually, we all had to admit that we were completely lost. The other boys told Paul to hand over his compass, and Paul reached into his pocket, pulled out his compass, and 2 buzz magnets. Buzz magnets are
Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? So it was just, no wonder why it was off.
magnets that are
Wait, this is not the guy who's working for you?
shaped like a bullet, and you can throw them up in the air, and they make this cool buzzing sound. They sold them at the camp store, so that's why Paul had them. And everyone immediately figured out why we were lost. For those of you who don't know how compasses and magnets work, I don't know either. I think it has something to do with them coming from outer space. A compass is supposed to point to the magnetic North Pole, and a magnet will mess up the direction a compass is supposed to point in. Paul's compass wasn't pointing to his pants the whole time. We would have been suspicious if that had happened. But because his compass was right next to a magnet, it got uncalibrated, and then we all got lost in the woods and died. And that's why I don't have an orienteering merit badge.
Wow. Paul's not a big brain. I think that's fair to say.
I was upset because my compass probably wasn't broken, but I didn't stand up for myself. Because I don't do that. I have more Camp Geronimo stories, like the time me and my friend threw a Ziploc bag full of water at the older kid's lean-to, and then I ran away so fast that I threw up. But I already did a
Wait, what? How does that happen?
video about that, and it's 5 years old, and it's very bad, and you're not allowed to watch it. So the moral of this video is, just because you're young doesn't mean you're stupid, but it does mean you make bad videos on YouTube. Also, check your pockets before going orienteering. Going orienteering. Sounds like a tongue twister. Going orienteering. Going orienteering. Going orienteering. What?
He's losing it. He's losing it.
Well, that was my Camp Geronimo experience. It was a lot of fun. I wonder if the camps are open right now, if people would have to be quarantined inside the tents the whole time. I bet that would be pretty intense. As you've seen on the...
Really? Really? All that just for that joke? I assume if you are camping, you wouldn't have to really self-quarantine because as long as the people you're around don't have it, I mean, you're not really coming in contact with anyone else. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I enjoyed this, and yeah, I don't like camping. I don't like bugs. I hate bugs. Freaking spiders, mosquitoes, freaking you name it. I hate bugs. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of camping, and I don't like when I was younger, I would go to like day camp sometimes, but I would never go to full-on like overnight camp where you'd spend a couple days overnight. I never was like that. I don't like leaving home all that much. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. James really didn't cover how they managed to get their way back home. I guess maybe they knew the starting position they were at on the compass, so then they could just, you know, follow it back or whatever. Because they did have multiple compasses, right? So I guess they could make their way back if they knew the coordinates they started from. But yeah, anyway, whatever. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up if you're new. Hit subscribe to the family. And yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time.